Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Yes, it's Shabbos. Yes, we had incredible energy last night. The room was packed, overflowing into the lobby. The energy of Ne'ilah and with the beautiful people here was incredible. And we hope that you'll join us, not just by Ne'ilah, not just by Kol Nidre, but throughout the year. And guess what? We are already here on first Shabbos. But this Shabbos is a very unique Shabbos. It's a Shabbos of the Torah portion of Haazinu. And so Haazinu, it says, has in it the entire past, present, and future. It's the final song of Moses on his last day. It teaches us the most beautiful poetry, beautiful poetic words. And it says, the Maharal of Prague, and then later on the previous Rebbe said that for the businessmen to know the words of Haazinu would be so beautiful and such helpful for their business to know it by heart. And so there's an interesting story that goes along with this parsha, and that is the parsha of Haazinu. To give you a little background in history, in the year 1244, there was a king by the name of King Aragon in Spain, in Catalonia, and the chief rabbi at the time of Girona was the Ramban, Nachmanides. And at the time they would create these debates, one of them was one of the leaders of the Jewish community that became a Christian. His name was Pablo Cristiani, and Pablo Cristiani summoned Nachmanides to a debate. But he said Nachmanides said, the only way I will agree to debate you if it's not a pre-made up facts, but we actually can debate, because no debates were ever allowed to be in real time. And later on, they would defer all the facts. And so Pablo Cristiani agreed that the debate will happen and all the transcripts will be released to the public, to the Jewish community. And so the king is sitting there, and Pablo Cristiani is there, and Nachmanides, to every question, basically wipes the floor with him. And then when they wanted to release the transcripts, they wouldn't allow him to release the transcripts. And so Nachmanides himself released the transcripts from this debate. And because of that, he had to run for his life, and he left to the land of Israel, in which he started his synagogue in the old city, which we have today under the Churva in the Jewish quarter. But during that period of time, there was another student of Nachmanides who also went the same direction as Pablo Cristiani. A little bit less famous, but also became part of the kingdom and a very wealthy individual and very politically powerful. His name was Avner. And so Avner summons Nachmanides on Yom Kippur. And so Nachmanides walks over there, and he comes to Avner, and Avner takes a pig, slaughters the pig, eats its flesh of pork, and then turns around to Nachmanides and says, "Rabbi, teacher, how many times did I just violate God's laws?" And so Nachmanides turns around to him and says, "You violated 4." And he has the chutzpah to argue, says, "No, it was really 5." And he starts bringing him sources about why he violated 5 times the sinning on Yom Kippur, or eating not kosher, etc. And so Nachmanides gives him a stern look and says, "Avner, what happened to you?" And with this, Avner himself, it really touched him. And so Avner turns around to him and says, "You told me that every single thing in the world is in this week's Parshat Haazinu. And it's just impossible. How could it be? It's only 52 phrases." And so to this, Nachmanides says, "Tell me what's not in there." And Avner says, "My name is not in there." And so Nachmanides says, "Why do you say that?" He says, "Look at Pasuk 26. So if you look at Pasuk 26, you'll see that there is the name of Amarti Afiem Ashbisa Me'enash Zichram. And if you look at the 3 letters, the third letter of each word of Afiem, the third letter is Aleph. Ashbisa, the third letter is Beis. Me'enash the third letter is Nun, and Zichram, the third letter is Resh, which spells Avner. And the Rebbe says on this, look at the word before that, Amarti, the third letter of that is Reb Avner. And so when Nachmanides tells him, Reb Avner, your name is in Haazinu, you just have to know how to read the psukim. It's not going to say it clearly, obviously, in 52 psukim, but through it, each idea is in the Torah. When he sees his Reb Avner in there, Avner starts to cry and he decides to do tshuva. He changes his entire life and he does tshuva. The Rebbe says on this, what is a Reb Avner, Rabbi Avner? Was Nachmanides was teaching him the potential inside of you, although you made tremendous mistakes. Nevertheless, the potential inside of you has the power to transform and to do tshuva. As we go into this Shabbos Parshat Haazinu, which is right after Yom Kippur, we still have the opportunity to transform in one moment our entire lives. We finished Ne'ilah, but we still have Til Hoshana Rabbah, which is the final closing of the gates on Sukkot and Simchas Torah. Let's celebrate together and enjoy the special Shabbos and just transform a little bit of ourselves, turn a little bit of ourselves on to something new, take on something new this Yom Kippur, and realize that we all have the potential to be a Reb Avner inside of us, a rabbi inside of us. Shabbat Shalom, and hope to see you very soon, even tomorrow.